Hey guys, I'm back. Hope you missed me. Just before the video starts, I just wanted to ask for a quick sub, cause this video took me a really long time to make. Anyway, thanks. So you've probably heard of the Origins mod, where on your spawn, you're presented with a multitude of origins, and depending on your choice, your style of gameplay could be drastically changed. These origins essentially give you superpowers, like the Phantom origin gives you the ability to turn invisible and walk through walls on command. This might seem overpowered, but there are drawbacks of course. For the Phantom, you starve faster, have less HP, and burn in the daylight. Now this is cool and all, but I took it a step further. The developers were nice enough to make the origins and powers data driven, meaning they made creating data packs for the Origins mod incredibly easy. Well, about 3 weeks ago, I started coding a data pack for my SMP, and you might think, oh that's cool, you added a few new origins. Nah, I took a different approach to this. You see, the Origins mod recently added a handy dandy new feature for data packs that allowed origins to transform once reaching a certain milestone or advancement. Of course I took advantage of this, and got myself something that revamps the end game of an SMP. Usually you just kill the Ender Dragon and move on with your life, right? Well, now the person who slays the Ender Dragon and gets the achievement gets to evolve into an adapted form. These adapted forms come with a few new perks for your origin. For example, normally the Blazeborn just gains strength while on fire, but now the adapted Blazeborn is able to release a fire blast that sets everything around it on fire. There are a bunch more abilities added, but that's not the main point of this video, so I'm just gonna leave a link in the description for you to download. Anyways, back to the SMP. So when I first joined the server, I, like all the others, had to make a choice. Eventually I chose the Shulk origin, giving me free armor points and an extra 3x3 inventory that stays with me on death, at the cost of me starving faster. Well, I immediately got to punching trees, and after a bit, immediately to mining. I knew that the other 3 players had decided to go off on their own, so I had to recruit new players to my side later. But for now, I needed the bare essentials like food, iron, and coal. For my early food supply, I chose to make mushroom stew because I spawned in a dark oak forest and mushrooms were really easy to come by. Next, I found a ravine and got myself all the iron and coal I would need for a while. I also found diamonds there, which was pretty neat. I stored everything that I found into my shulker inventory. I then made some iron armor and realized that my armor bar was full because of my origin. So now I basically have diamond armor like half an hour into the game. I really didn't like my current location, so I went on and tried to find myself an ocean to live nearby. After like 15 minutes of straight traveling, I finally found an ocean. Then I decided that it was too far away from spawn, so I decided to go back. After another 15 minutes or so, I settled for this plains biome with a ruined portal in the middle of the dark oak forest and started building my house. I really had no clue what I wanted it to look like, so I went with this weird U shape and went off of that. So about the evolving origins, only one of us would get to evolve into our adapted forms each time we killed the Ender Dragon. So reviving the dragon just to kill it again was integral if we wanted to get stronger. This made gas tears highly valuable because they were needed to make the end crystals, which in turn were required for respawning the dragon. But that was a problem for future me. Anyways, I then got to mining again cause I wanted to go to the nether, and I was too stupid to use lava and water buckets. The trip was somewhat successful and I got enough diamonds to make a diamond pickaxe, which I then used to get obsidian and fix the ruined portal outside my house. I then entered the nether, only to find out that there was nothing there. Like literally nothing. I wasn't even near the normal nether biome. I was stuck in the soul sand valley, which sucked. And so I left, again ignoring my need for gas tears and blaze rods. Well, I went back over to the overworld again and I did some more mining. I also gathered a few cows and sheep, which took me way longer to separate than I should have. I was literally just about done until a creeper blew it up, so man, that sucked. I eventually finished it. a day later. Anyways, I was nowhere near a village, so I also captured a few zombie villagers, which would come to be extremely useful in the future. I did a bit more farming around the house and captured another zombie villager because the second one despawned. My fences got blown up a second time, which was fun, and then I tried fishing for a mending book and gave up almost immediately. I was struggling to craft a fence for like a minute while the zombie villager was attacking me, but I got the job done eventually. Then I finished getting enough books for a level 30 enchantment table, yay. Oh yeah, did I mention that I got an enchanting table? Well, now you know. It would be a while until I actually enchanted anything though, because I had no XP grinder right now. Anyways, still ignoring my blaze rod shortage, I decided to go netherite mining. I crafted myself a bunch of beds and got into my portal. And let me tell you, netherite is so much easier to find than diamonds. Within like 15 minutes I had found enough for my first netherite ingot, which of course I turned it into a netherite pickaxe as it's the superior tool. Did you know that netherite tools actually have a higher enchanting luck than diamond? The more you know, I guess. I tried to fish for a mending book again and then gave up even faster this time. Alright, so up until now I haven't shown you guys much of the other people's base. Well, off I go to visit them now, and thankfully only one of them was online at the time. Not that that was important or anything, I was only offering him an extremely generous trade of 1 blaze rod for 1 diamond. Like, who wouldn't say yes to that offer? Their nether portal was even right next to another fortress, so they had an infinite amount of them. Well, he was struggling a bit too much and couldn't seem to comprehend my generosity, so I took it upon myself to force the trade. To be fair, he attacked me first, and I didn't plan on taking anything, just 1 or 2 blaze rods in exchange for diamonds. Well, apparently he hid the blaze rod somewhere in their chests and I couldn't find where they made their nether portal. I looked throughout their entire base and I swear these guys are like mole rats. Their mine was blocked off tunnels and it was a complete maze down there. So I really just decided not to waste any more time. 12YL was still attacking me the entire time, which was getting old. He was literally doing at most 100 damage to me while I searched for their portal. I was at their base for like 20 to 30 minutes without anything, so I finally had enough and decided to leave. Well, apparently he thought I was leaving because I was low on health and tried to follow me. And died. I went back to check on him and just look at that fool. He tried to attack me again while I was fixing my armor, so this time, I decided to personally check his inventory for a potential trade deal. There was nothing. At this point I was so done, I had gotten nothing out of this trip and started to go home. Again, he tried following me and died to an enderman this time. Kinda ironic if you ask me, considering that he chose the Enderian origin. Well, I made it home eventually and that was the end of that. Nothing lost, nothing really gained. Well, after that very unsuccessful trade, I got back to breeding my cows. I needed the leather so I could enchant a bunch of books later. Next on my plan was to get a XP grinder. I didn't find any zombie or skeleton spawners, but I did find a cave spider spawner. The annoying part was there was no simple XP grinder, so I had to go online to find designs. Thankfully, there was a really cheap and cool design for one that works arguably better than a conventional skeleton or zombie spawner. The grinder was designed by Waffle Stick. I'll leave a link to the video in the description below. Well, I got to hollowing out the place, and after 30 minutes or so, I made the actual grinder part, which had a really cool design. I finished shortly afterwards and made myself a grinding room. I sat there for a bit and got myself to level 30. Which then I got my first level 30 enchantment on my netherite pickaxe. On to the next job at hand. My friend joined the server and we made possibly the worst decision and decided that he should go for the Merlin origin. We could have chosen literally any other origin and it would have been fine, but here we are, I guess. We had problems the second he joined the world, because like I mentioned in the beginning, the closest ocean was over 1,000 blocks away from my base. After dying a couple of times to get over to my base, he somehow managed to get there. Now, the first order of business was to make sure that he wouldn't die, so after setting his spawn point, we dug a sort of water tunnel from my base into the lake. We needed to make all the water in the tunnel into full water blocks, so I made a trip all the way to the ocean to go get some kelp. I handed him some iron blocks and he got on his way mining. After the trip to the ocean, it was really late at night, so I decided to grind a bit of XP and log off and sleep. The next day, I found a village and crafted a lectern to get mending books. After a surprisingly short amount of tries, I got it. Oh, I got a mending villager. Alright, I'm gonna write down the coordinates. Unfortunately though, the village was also over 1,000 blocks away from my home. I really chose one of the worst locations, and so I only managed to get one mending book with the little emeralds I had stolen from the rest of the villagers. Anyways, I got home and enchanted my netherite pickaxe with the mending book I got. After that, I went on another mining trip, this one exponentially better than the first few trips I went on. I ended it with almost 40 diamonds, the 10 put aside were my friends. Of course, this all meant nothing if I couldn't get more mending easier. Alright, so we have a problem now. Remember when I said that we had no access to blaze rods? Well, that still hasn't changed, and we were beginning to feel the effects of it. Without the blaze rods, we couldn't brew potions, and even if we found a brewing stand from a village, we didn't have blaze powder to put in it. No blaze powder meant that we couldn't brew any water breathing potions, meaning that my friend wouldn't be able to breathe above water. That meant that Nova wouldn't be able to travel through the nether, leaving only me to explore it. It also meant that we couldn't brew any splash potions of weakness, meaning that we couldn't convert our zombie villagers into regular villagers. Now the other team, we knew that they had a decent sized supply of blaze rods, and desperate times called for desperate needs. I went all the way over to their base to spy and try to find out where they kept their portal, and maybe even where their blaze rods were. Well, I got way too close to their base, and I don't even know why I got so close. One of them, 12YL to be exact, had slain the dragon and gained his adapted form in the time between our last meet. Now his adapted form, the adapted Enderian, didn't gain much in PvP. Well, nothing that would affect current me in a fight with him at least. He did gain arrow immunity though, but that wasn't as important currently. What was important though was the second ability he gained. Called Eyes of the End, he was now able to see every and all living entities no matter where they were and how they were, which of course included me. All of a sudden, I see all three of them run out of the house and I made a run for it. Unfortunately, I'm a shulk and I have absolutely no form of mobility, while the Enderians could teleport and the feline could leap forward. Knowing this, I made the decision then and there to stay and fight. No, but actually though, that was incredibly unfortunate. I lost my netherite sword with mending and looting, so I had to craft another one. However way you looked at it, it was bad. I used up the rest of my diamonds to craft myself a full set of diamond armor, so I had basically no diamonds left. It was truly a low point for me at the server. I decided that I should go netherite mining for another sword, and so I crafted a bunch of beds again and off I went. I was pretty successful in the nether and found myself a bit more ancient debris until suddenly this guy types into the chat. My house was already burning down when he got there, Now, I'm no Minecraft expert, but one thing I do know is that Minecraft was designed to have almost all consequences be the result of a player action. This is true in almost every aspect of the game. Take creepers for example. They don't just blow up by themselves randomly. A player has to be in its range for the countdown to start. This is why iron golems won't attack creepers, so the game won't just have random craters that weren't caused by the player specifically. This is why Minecraft will never have natural disasters like tornadoes and such. The one exception to this is lightning, and even this is bordering being controllable. With the new lightning rod being added to the game, it was a response to the fact that lightning was uncontrollable by the player and caused consequences in the game that wasn't created by the player. Now, how does this all relate to my house burning down? There was absolutely no fire even remotely close to my house, and lightning can only strike when there's a thunderstorm. And it wasn't even raining when I left for the nether, nor was it when I came back. So what does this tell us? By the rules of Minecraft, all consequences are caused by players, aside from lightning of course. So either Almighty Zeus created a localized thunderstorm right above my house and struck it with a bolt of lightning between the 15 minutes I was gone in the nether, and this guy just happened to see it while it was burning down, or someone on their team burned my house down. And what was the excuse for just watching my house burn down? He was mining a piece of obsidian with his iron pickaxe. Do you know how long it takes for an iron pickaxe to break obsidian? 41 seconds. So he sat there for 41 seconds watching my house burn down while he mined out my nether portal. Like what? Who does that? I genuinely felt bad for him when he lost the 50 levels in that fight, but he got a brand new shiny sword from it, so I called it a pretty even deal. But now they come and burned my house down. Reinvigorated, I set out immediately to find blaze rods. You see, while all this drama was going down, my friend was underneath their base building another portal to link up with theirs. I traveled to that portal, found the nether fortress, and grinded for blaze rods. Enough blaze rods to last a good while and go out. The next order of business was to get water breathing potions for Nova and splash potions of weakness for the zombie villagers. After a short bit, we converted the zombie villagers into regular villagers. Of course, the first thing we got was a mending villager. The other two I stuck into the reproduction chamber. Now we needed crops to breed them all, so I made this micro farm. This design that I'm building right now was made by T2 Studios. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Alright, so I finished it and it works just as intended. I got hundreds of crops in just a few minutes and used those to breed my new villagers. With the new villagers, I got myself a protection 4 villager and a fisherman to sell string to. The only problem with the farm was that I needed a ton of bone meal to use it. So after going on a mining trip in both the overworld and the nether, getting myself full netherite, off I went to the nether again to gather a bunch of bone blocks. And then I got distracted by ghasts and followed their noises. I found myself at my own nether fortress. There I grinded for a ton more blaze rods, enough to basically never need to come back, and followed my path all the way back to the portal. After getting out of the nether, I went home. And now, with all the materials ready to challenge the Ender Dragon, I will see you in the next video. Alright, so if you made it to the end and you want to see more, you could check out my shorts channel because I'll be posting semi-daily to that one. Alright, see ya.